As you know, the debate will take place mostly in English, but as we have two Italian directors, a Canadian French director, I think that will have a little bit of mix of languages today. I think that I have to introduce everyone. From our side, you take the other side of the match. From our side, we have my dear good friend Adrian Wootton. Adrian Wootton is the chairman of Film London nowadays. He's a veteran of festivals. He's part of the selection committee of the Venice Days. He's a very good expert in terms of public discussions, so I invited him like a real discussant. Also because, of course, he had seen especially the Italian movie we presented yesterday, L'amore buio, by Antonio Capuano, who's here on my right. Then we have Andrea Segre. Andrea Segre is an Italian director. He spent mostly his time in documentaries, and he's here in the most trouble with the documentary dealing with the social and racist riots which took place in Italy last spring, winter-spring. Then we have the director of the film presented officially today in our official selection. The film is Incendies, Denis Villeneuve. From the cast of L'amore buio, Fabrizio Gifuni, and we thank a lot of the people of the cast and the producer of the film which attend this meeting, and myself, Giorgio Gosetti, and two of you who take place in the leading table, but you are totally free to have questions, to have statements, to be part of this discussion. The theme, the subject we decided is mostly general. We entitled it "The Violence Next Door," because we thought that here we have three different situations of real violence, and they are very different situations of violence, but I think, maybe it's my personal opinion, that there is a link between the three stories, which deals about a city, Naples, a story of a very little village in Italy, Locarno, and a long, long trip from Canada to the Middle East, where there is not only private violence, there is real violence we have to face. Mostly, any one of the stories we presented try to underline some different behaviors facing the violence. So I think that the best thing is very shortly to ask to the three directors to expose if they feel themselves involved in the discussion about violence or not, talking about their films. Andrea, can we start with you?
Thank you. Yeah, of course, the documentary I realized this year it is very strictly linked with the theme of violence, because the protagonists of the documentary are African immigrants working in the agriculture in south of Italy, and they faced a lot of intimidation, a lot of small violences in the last 10 years. Not the protagonists of the film, but the immigrants working in this region. They had to face this kind of small violences, but in some cases also they was shooted by criminal organizations in this region. And what I wanted to underline in the documentary was the dignity of their anger to this violence. Because at the beginning, when they faced the last year in 2008, when two of them were shot by some criminals in the region, in this small village in south of Italy, they decided to organize a very pacific demonstration against this kind of violences in order to keep the attention of the institution and to raise the attention of the public opinion only with a very pacific demonstration. But they didn't find an answer, they didn't find attention to their problem, to their situation, because they are working in very bad condition, they are living in very bad condition. This year, when at the end of 2009, beginning of 2010, this violence is repeated, they decided to make a no more pacific demonstration, to make a violent demonstration, because their range was very high, and they couldn't stay quiet like the first year. And so this is, I think, the link with the theme of violence and funding, right? How to answer to a violence, peaceful with violence.